when I think about trying to sustain ozone time, you're going to have the puck sometimes, but there's also times where you're just sustaining territorial advantage. And when you have good pressure to contact, you're reloading back above the puck, you're using stick lifts, you have that second quick, your likelihood of maintaining that territorial advantage is that much higher. So I wanted to at least just acknowledge, habits playing a role in this. And then funny enough too, we play against a team in our league, and I won't mention names. I like to think, defensive habits create that transition offense, right? I think another coach referenced it. The opponent isn't organized yet on D. And so the likelihood of being able to create those quality scoring chances, which is what we want, is that much higher. So really using that to sell your players on your defensive habits, right? So I think the team in our league, funny enough, when I put down their transition offense, also creates the perception of momentum, and it breaks down really quick and it's a quality scoring chance against and you feel like you're on your heels. There's a team in our league that you feel like you're dominating them all game and you feel good about it, you have momentum, and all of a sudden they score and they think they're buzzing, but they're not buzzing, but they have the perception that they're buzzing because they just scored a goal, but you've just been dominating for the last 10 minutes. So I do think that perception of momentum is something cool that I wanted to throw in there too. But obviously, like I said, sustaining that ozone time. And then for us, one thing that we did as we transitioned into talking about shift lengths, I really do feel like you are what you celebrate. And so for us, we have paws that go on the back of our helmet, and we celebrate 30 to 40 second average shift length. We celebrate, being that net front screen on a goal. We celebrate those little things. So this is just an example of that transition style of offense that comes from defensive habits. So here we're red, D-zone coverage. We do a good job pressuring inside out, angling them down into the dead zone. We get pressure to contact. We get a second quick. And then we're transitioning up ice quick. So just an example of there was no really, set, sustained structure. It was just our habits. We created transition. We're beating them up the ice. And then we let our skill do the work, not settling for the outside shot, but looking for that quality look, which we'll talk about a little bit later as well. Shot off the pass. All right, so that perception of momentum, you're just in your D zone, you used habits to create transition, and now you're on the scoreboard. All right, shift length. Love talking about shift length. It's utilized all too often, have short shifts, 30 to 40 seconds, but I feel before I go into that long rant about it, I feel like Snoop Dogg could probably give us a little bit more insight on changes before we get going.
Everybody's favorite hockey expert, Dog Cherry, the greater one, is in the house. And today, I'm your principal of Hockey 101, and we're talking line changes. That's when the guys on the ice all rush off at the same time. Kind of looks like the last call at the bar. In hockey, unlike other sports, substitutions happen in the middle of the action. No timeouts. They call it on the fly. I like that, on the fly. I call it running into traffic. The reason they have to do line changes so quickly is that hockey is tiring as shifts are usually only 30 to 45 seconds. Imagine if they had 30-second shifts at other jobs. Dudes would roll up 5 seconds late, leave 5 seconds early, and work for 20 seconds. Teams usually have 4 front lines, which are the offensive guys, and 3 defensive lines. Putting the best guys on the ice at the right times is one of the coach's main jobs. Do your job. You only want to do...
I feel like that's a good spot to end it. Do your job. It is. Setting our players up for success is one of the biggest things we can do in a game, but having them buy into that, right? So obviously there's science to support it. This chart just kind of shows the likelihood of you getting shots on net. The later in your shift, it's less likely, and let alone creating that quality look. And that's all that chart's really saying. But I thought this was kind of a cool quote from Dan Bilsma was, early in the year, he's referencing that when the players come up from minor hockey or juniors, notices that learning curve. And I thought this was cool because I feel the exact same in college. And you get players from minor hockey who are used to 90-second shifts, 2-minute shifts. I've literally went to watch a game. One of our exciting recruits was playing that was coming in the following year. Best player on her team. I literally watched the coach close the door on her. She tried to get off the ice, she tried to change, she was tired, and the coach closed the door. And to think that this is what they're used to, right? If your body physically has never experienced what it feels like to play at 100% capacity for 30 seconds, as hard as you can go, how would you know any different when you get to the next level?